Reilly Cottage, a three-log foray in the Kaftow Valley. This foray was built in 1894 by Cecil Charles Frodsham Reilly for his wife Sarah Ann and family when they moved from Timaru along with 11 other families to establish a small farming settlement after being successful in their ballot for the Kaftow land, now known as Mangaweka. With no previous experience in the bush, Cecil Reilly arrived first and began the huge task of clearing the land, sowing grass and building a foray. Sarah joined him a few months later with their 7 children, with two more born in the settlement. The cottage was built with hand-split totara and had 3 rooms, the living area being in the middle. There was another building behind which housed the wash house. It is understood that the boys slept out there too. Approximately 36 by 12 feet, that's 11 metres by 3.5 metres, with a shingle roof. The walls were laid with newspaper and, in places, cotton fabric before a layer of wallpaper. It was occupied by their 6th child, Peter, after his return from service during World War I, until his passing in 1963, and eventually had both power and later a telephone line installed. When word reached those in the know of Rob Green, a woodworker living in Kimbolton, whose curiosity in original settlers' huts led him to build a replica using the remaining hand-split timber he could preserve using only the basic tools of the time, he was contacted about a lonely surviving hut on a back-country hillside with the thought that he was just the person who could save it. Rob was introduced to the landowners, and with time being of the essence, as the state of the small slab hut unlikely to survive another snowfall, Rob accepted the challenge. Rob's preference would have been to preserve the hut where it was, but with great reluctance he dismantled it board by board, numbering each piece as he worked. Rather sadly, it finally left that lovely, if not somewhat lonely, hill overlooking the very river terraces of the Kawatow River Flats, where from its totara was probably taken. He commented, "Whilst I would not wish to make light of those early hardships and privations experienced by those original pioneer Reillys, one can only speculate on the inspiration gained from such a pristine and grand landscape that would have greeted them from emerging from their simple slab cottage on a frosty and somewhat frozen Kaftow Valley morning." Sadly, Reilly Cottage, which was wrought from its surroundings and experienced over 100 years in perfect harmony with its surrounding, would look upon them no more. Using the numbered boards, Rob rebuilt the cottage on his property in Kimbolton, where it was appreciated and admired for many years. To further preserve the cottage, in 2023, Rob offered it to the coach house, and the decision was made to dismantle it again and relocate it to the museum in Fielding. With the limited space available and the further deterioration of the original totara, the cottage has undertaken a bit of a remodel. The team at the coach house have reassembled the cottage and furnished it as it would have been originally, with many of the items coming from the Reilly family. Reilly Reilly Cottage, a 3-log foray in the Kafutau Valley. This foray was built in 1894 by Cecil Charles Frodsham Reilly for his wife Sarah Ann and family when they moved from Timaru along with 11 other families